He wasn't expecting it. There was no apparent sign that your gesture was coming, and suddenly everything shifted. The surprise wasn't just in what you did, it was in what became apparent within him, because something moved, something that had been asleep and might never have been awakened if it weren't for that moment. Have you noticed how sometimes what changes a life isn't a grand speech or a perfect plan? It's just an unexpected action, born from an inner silence that arrives like a rupture in the normal flow of things. He carried certainties. He had built a wall of predictability around himself. He thought he knew what to expect from you, from the world, from himself. But in that moment, that wall crumbled to dust before the wind. And you felt something too. It wasn't just him who noticed. You saw yourself differently because you recognized the power of a choice you might not have even calculated. The impact was so immediate that there was no time to justify, to explain, to rationalize. What remained was the silence of surprise. That silence is powerful. It speaks of a space where words do not reach. It shows that there is something beyond the predictable routine, something more than what he believed he already knew about you. Perhaps you're still trying to understand what was born there, because that action wasn't just for him, it was also for you. A reminder that there is more to you than what you used to show. And when he noticed, something in his gaze changed. A mirror was formed, and in it, you saw not only the reflection of what you did, but also the confirmation of an old truth. You are capable of surprising. You are capable of breaking cycles. You are capable of creating a before and an after in someone's life. You didn't know you had this power, but now you do, and he knows it too. It's not just about what you did, it's about what opened up inside him, a new perception that left him vulnerable and, at the same time, awake. When you act unexpectedly, something in the rhythm of life breaks, and that break is often what saves us. Because it's in that moment that the heart realizes there is still mystery, there is still strength, there is still something that cannot be predicted or controlled. He thought he knew all your moves. He expected repetitions. He relied on predictability. But you are not predictable, you never were. What happened is that until now you had stayed within a comfort zone. And when you crossed that boundary, he saw that there was more. This more cannot be easily described. It's a whisper, an almost invisible movement, but one that carries the weight of eternity. Have you ever felt this? Do you realize how a simple gesture can bear the weight of an entire lifetime? That's what happened, and that moment remains. Not just in the body of memory, but in the air, in the vibration, in the invisible field that surrounds each of you. The impact of a genuine surprise is irreversible. You might try to erase it, but you can't. He might try to rationalize it, but he won't. Because something has already been etched, and what has been etched cannot be erased. Now he looks at you differently, and you can feel that gaze. You notice that something has shifted in the space between you. It's as if there's a newfound recognition, a new respect, an opening that was previously locked. And maybe you wonder, why is this so important? Because deep down, every human being longs to be surprised. Not in a superficial sense, not in calculated gestures, but surprised at the core. And you did that. Perhaps you didn't even do it on purpose, but it was real, and that's why it had such a profound impact. He can no longer return to the same internal place he was in before. And you can't either. This attitude has created a new path, and from it, everything that comes next will be different. At this point, you need to take a deep breath and realize what you did was bigger than it seemed. It was bigger because it wasn't constrained by form. It was bigger because it touched the essence. After the surprise comes the silence. A silence that is not empty, but full of reverberations. Every second seems loaded with meaning. Every glance, every pause, every breath carries the memory of what was done. And this silence is precious, because in it one digests, in it one perceives, in it one allows oneself to feel what perhaps was never felt before. Don't try to fill this silence. Don't try to explain, justify, or soften. It needs this space for the surprise to become revelation. And you need it too. Life is made of these intervals. It is in these spaces that seeds germinate. You planted a seed by acting as you did. Now it is in this silence that it begins to sprout. The most curious thing is that he doesn't just feel surprised, he feels seen. And that is rare, because realizing that someone can go beyond expectations also means recognizing that there is attention, there is presence, there is something deeper manifesting. You didn't just do something, you revealed something. And this revelation, no matter how small it may seem, has the power to transform. Perhaps he doesn't yet know how to put it into words. Perhaps you don't either. But transformation doesn't wait for clarity. It happens first, like a hidden movement. The unexpected has this power to break down barriers, dissolve certainties, open doors that were locked. And now within him some doors have opened, doors he didn't even know existed. Have you noticed how when someone truly surprises us, we feel both fear and gratitude at the same time? Fear because we have no control. Gratitude because finally something pulls us out of the same place. That's what he feels, and that's what you deep down also feel. A strange balance between fear and joy, between vulnerability and strength, and there is nothing more human than that. If this has ever happened to you, comment, "I needed to hear that." He is now starting to question himself. What else do you hold back? What other strengths have you yet to reveal? How many more unexpected gestures can come from you? These questions are not superficial. They don't just pertain to what you did in that moment. They relate to your essence because, in surprising him, you showed that there is something within him that he still didn't know. And that intrigues him. It moves him. It's not about control, it's not about predictability, it's about the strength of the invisible. The strength of something that cannot be calculated but can be felt. He starts to see you differently, not as someone who repeats themselves, but as someone who brings mystery. And that mystery is vital, because it's the mystery that keeps the flame of connection alive. What surprises him isn't just the gesture. It's the reminder that there is an infinite space of possibilities within you, and when he touches that memory, he also awakens to himself, because upon seeing your depth, he begins to question his own. The unexpected opens that mirror. You showed something, and now he searches within himself for what is yet to be revealed. This is the true power of surprise. To awaken not just the other, but both, to a calling for something deeper. And perhaps you've noticed this before in other moments of life, but now it's different. Now it's clearer, more perceptible, more urgent. Because when an action creates a before and an after, there's no turning back, there's only moving forward. And moving forward is not linear, it's not controlled. It's alive, unpredictable, full of nuances. Have you noticed how life gains intensity when it strays from the script? That's what happened, and that's what continues to happen within him. He is still in silence, but that silence is not distant. It's a silence of someone who is assimilating, of someone who is letting something greater grow within. You in turn feel this atmosphere, and you realize that in some way the gesture you made wasn't just your choice. It was as if something greater had moved through you. This something greater can't be explained, but it can be felt, and you feel it. You feel that you were ready to break a cycle. You feel that it was time to show a new face. You feel that you needed to take this step, even if you weren't fully aware of it. And when you take that step, it's not just him that awakens. You awaken too. You realize there's so much within you that hasn't been used yet, so much that hasn't been lived, so much that can still be manifested. This realization is liberating, because it shows that the path isn't over. It shows that there are still surprises, still breaks, still room for the unexpected. And maybe in that moment you perceive something even deeper. You don't have to be a prisoner of what was. You don't have to repeat stories. You don't have to shrink in the face of expectations. You can, at any moment, act in a way that no one anticipates, not even yourself. This is the greatest power that exists, and it was this power that he saw in you. He can no longer think of you in the same way. The unexpected gesture opened a crack in the image he had formed, and that crack doesn't close. You notice it in the details, in the way he looks at you, in the way he breathes near you, in the way he hesitates to speak. There's something new in the air, something that wasn't there before. This something isn't just curiosity, it's respect, it's admiration, it's the realization that you aren't predictable, that you don't fit in small frames, that you hold within you dimensions he didn't even know existed. Have you ever felt when someone suddenly looks at you as if they're seeing you for the first time? That's how he looks now, as if, with each moment, he discovers a piece of you that was previously hidden. And deep down, you know, this reflection transforms him too, because when you are seen differently, you also start to see yourself differently. You discover that there is more to you. You find out that you can go beyond. You realize that you don't have to live in a reduced way. That's why the surprise was so powerful. It didn't just change him, it changed you too. And this change is like a mirror that multiplies. With each passing day, more reflections. With every glance, more confirmations. With every silence, more revelations. You now carry with you the certainty that you can create breaks, that you can provoke movement, that you can touch layers of someone's soul without even saying a word. This power is not meant to be used calculatedly. It only exists when it is genuine, and that's why it worked. Because it wasn't a trick, it wasn't a strategy, it wasn't manipulation, it was pure, it was real, and everything that is real remains. Now something is growing inside him. A seed has been planted, and like every seed, it is not immediately visible. But it is already there, it is already germinating. This seed is the memory of the unexpected, the reminder that there is always more than can be predicted, and this memory will follow him. No matter how much he tries to deny it, it will not leave him. You also feel this seed inside you, because the surprise was not just external, it happened inside you first. You surprised yourself, and that is what matters most. The true power is right there. When you surprise yourself, the whole world changes around you. Because the reflection is inevitable, the invisible field that opens up within you reaches everything and everyone around you. He realized this. Perhaps he doesn't have clarity to explain, but he feels. He feels that something in you has changed. He feels that something in himself also needs to change. It's interesting how a gesture can carry such potency, and at the same time be so simple. You didn't plan it, you didn't architect it, you just did it. And that's exactly why it was so powerful. Life is like this. What is born pure, without calculation, is what transforms the most. And now that seed is growing, silent, irreversible. Have you ever noticed how certain actions seem small at the moment, but later reveal themselves as turning points? That's exactly what you're experiencing right now. A turning point. He is not the same anymore. You are not the same anymore. And nothing will be the same from now on. He wakes up differently. He doesn't say anything, but he feels. And feeling is stronger than any word. From now on, every time he sees you, a memory awakens. The memory of the gesture, the memory of the unexpected, the memory that you are more than he imagined. That awakened gaze is like fire. It burns, but it also warms. It scorches, but it also illuminates. And you feel that fire. You don't need to ask. You don't need to confirm. Then it's there, palpable, cutting through every silence, every encounter, every moment. The most surprising thing is that this fire doesn't depend on physical proximity. Even from a distance, he feels it. Even far away, the memory of the unexpected stays alive. Because what is true doesn't depend on physical presence. What is true dwells in the invisible. And the invisible is more real than anything that can be touched. You feel that too. You also sense the intensity of what has been created, and you realize that there's no way to deny it. It doesn't matter what comes next. It doesn't matter if circumstances change. The gesture has already happened. The surprise has already become reality, and this reality cannot be erased. Maybe he will never say aloud how much this has transformed him. Maybe he will never have the courage to put it into words. But you don't need to hear it. You already know. You have already perceived it. The gaze says it all. The silence confirms it. The vibration leaves no doubt. And in that awakened gaze, there is also an invitation. An invitation for you to continue being who you are. Unpredictable, deep, true. That gesture marked a before and an after. Every journey begins like this, with a break, with something that disrupts the routine and makes space for the new. He is now on a journey. You are too. Both of you are walking through uncharted territory, and the unknown can be scary, but it can also be liberating, because it is in the unknown that life truly happens. Before there were certainties, now there is mystery. Before there was repetition, now there is surprise. And the journey is exactly that. Stepping out of the predictable and entering the realm of the unpredictable. Stepping out of control and going with the flow. Stepping off the surface and diving into the depths. Have you noticed how the unexpected opens doors that would never be opened otherwise? That is what is happening now. Doors are opening, not through logic, not through effort, but through the force of the gesture that broke the pattern. He feels it, you feel it. And even if you cannot name it, both of you know something has begun. This journey has no map. It has no manual, it has no script. But it has direction, and the direction is inward. Each step leads to a new perception. Each silence reveals a new meaning. Each encounter becomes more charged with intensity. The journey is not easy, but it is necessary. And deep down, it is what both of you have always sought, even without knowing. You are now called to go deeper. It's not about repeating the gesture, nor about creating new tricks. It's about staying true, because the unexpected is not in rehearsed actions, but in authenticity. He realizes this. He sees that the mystery in you is not in what you show, but in who you are. And that is irresistible. The more you are true, the more he is surprised. The more you reveal your essence, the more he finds himself facing something he cannot control. And it is precisely that which keeps the flame alive. The depth is not comfortable. It requires courage. It requires letting go. It requires surrendering to the invisible. But it is in that depth that real life is found, and you have already begun to dive. The call of the depth cannot be ignored. It continues to echo, louder each time, more noticeable with every passing moment. And the more you listen, the more you realize that you can never return to the surface again. This is the fate of those who dare to surprise. They do not turn back. They no longer fit into small frames. They can no longer live in the predictable. You have crossed the line, and now there is no turning back. There is only moving forward. There is only depth. There is only the mystery that keeps unfolding. If this text resonated with you so far, write in the comments, yes. This conversation doesn't end here. If this moved you, the next video will touch you even more. Click and continue with me now.